When you think of ancient toolmakers, who comes to mind? For centuries, history books painted a picture of male innovation. But what if we told you that perspective is fundamentally incomplete? Get ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about the Stone Age, because we're about to uncover the groundbreaking, unsung revolution led by prehistoric women. Forget everything you thought you knew about who built civilization. For too long, the story of early human innovation has been missing a crucial chapter one where prehistoric women weren't just gatherers, but brilliant engineers and essential architects of survival. Prepare to have your mind blown as we unveil the extraordinary ingenuity of these forgotten figures and the true impact of their contributions. The greatest untold story of human innovation isn't about spears and hunting, but about ingenuity born from everyday needs, often by the hands of women. You've heard about the hunter-gatherer societies, but what if the gatherer part was where the real revolution happened? This exploration will reveal why the tools developed by prehistoric women were not just crucial for survival, but pivotal in shaping our very species. Let's dive deep into this transformative narrative. The Stone Age, spanning millions of years from the earliest hominids to the dawn of agriculture around 10,000 years ago, is often romanticized as a time of rugged hunters wielding sharpened stones to fell mighty beasts. But this image, perpetuated by early archaeologists influenced by their own patriarchal societies, overlooks a vast array of innovations that sustained life on a daily basis. Prehistoric women, burdened with the responsibilities of child-rearing, food preparation, and community maintenance, faced unique challenges that demanded clever solutions. Their tools weren't flashy weapons for conquest. They were practical masterpieces for processing, preserving, and protecting. Consider the sheer diversity of these inventions. Beyond the iconic stone axe, which is frequently associated with male labor like chopping wood or hunting, women's tools address the intricacies of daily existence. Food processing tools, for instance, were essential in transforming raw, indigestible plants and animals into nourishing meals. Grinding stones, pestles, and mortars allowed women to pulverize grains, nuts, and seeds into flours and pastes, unlocking calories that would otherwise be lost. In sites across Africa and Europe, dating back over 100,000 years, archaeologists have unearthed these implements with wear patterns indicative of repetitive grinding motions, motions that align with the ergonomic needs of women who balance such tasks with caregiving. Then there were the tools for preparing hides. Scrapers, made from flint or bone with finely honed edges, were used to remove flesh, fat, and hair from animal skins, turning them into supple leather for clothing, shelters, and containers. These weren't crude devices. They required precise snapping techniques to create curved blades that minimized effort while maximizing efficiency. The challenges women faced were immense. Exposure to harsh weather, the need for portable materials during nomadic migrations, and the constant demand for durable goods that could withstand the rigors of prehistoric life. Imagine a woman in the Upper Paleolithic, some 40,000 years ago, meticulously crafting a scraper to fashion a waterproof pouch for carrying water or berries, a simple act that could mean the difference between life and death in arid landscapes. Crafting clothing extended this ingenuity further. Awls, needles fashioned from bone or ivory, and even early forms of cordage made from plant fibers enabled the sewing of garments that provided warmth and protection. In the frozen tundras of Ice Age Europe, where temperatures plummeted below freezing, these tools allowed communities to thrive where others might perish. The specific needs of women: mobility while pregnant, insulation for infants, and multifunctional attire for gathering drove innovations like composite tools, where multiple functions were integrated into one object. A single bone tool might serve as both an awl for piercing and a scraper for smoothing, showcasing an efficiency born from necessity. But how do we know these were women's contributions? Archaeological evidence paints a compelling picture. Microscopic where patterns on tools reveal the stories of their use. Use-wear analysis, a technique that examines scratches, polishes, and residues under high magnification, shows distinct signatures, glossy edges from hide working, striations from plant processing, and even traces of ochre or resins used as adhesives. These patterns often cluster in domestic areas of sites, near hearths and living spaces, where ethnographic parallels suggest women predominated. Specific tool types further bolster this. In the Levant, around 23,000 years ago at Ohalo II, a submerged site preserved by water, researchers found sickles with hafted microliths, tiny blades set into handles for harvesting wild cereals. The ergonomic design and location imply female use, as gathering plant foods was a primary female activity in many hunter-gatherer groups. Locations matter too. Tools found in burial contexts, like the famous Red Lady of Paviland, actually a male, but similar sites yield female graves with toolkits, or in European caves like Lascaux, where domestic artifacts abound, point to gendered labor divisions. Revolutionary analytical techniques have transformed our understanding. Residue analysis detects organic traces, like plant starches or animal proteins on tool surfaces, linking them to food preparation. Isotopic studies of human remains reveal diets heavy in gathered foods, underscoring women's role in sustenance. DNA from tools, though rare, can sometimes indicate handling by individuals with XX chromosomes, though this is emerging science. Leading anthropologists, such as those from the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology, argue that ignoring women's tools skews our view of human evolution. Sarah Lacey, an archaeologist specializing in gender in prehistory, notes that the invisibility of women's work in the archaeological record is a product of bias, not absence. Similarly, Dean Snow's analysis of hand stencils in Paleolithic caves suggests up to 75% were made by women, implying their active participation in cultural and technological spheres. This evidence isn't isolated, it's global. In Australia, Aboriginal women's digging sticks and grinding slabs date back 65,000 years, integral to processing yams and seeds. In the Americas, Clovis-era points give way to diverse toolkits in later periods, with women innovating nets and baskets for fishing and foraging. These findings challenge the notion of a strict male-female divide, revealing a more fluid, collaborative dynamic where women's innovations complemented hunting tools. Now, let's explore the societal impact. Women's toolmaking didn't just ensure survival. It fueled advancements in craftsmanship and trade. Skilled hide preparation led to ornate clothing, which could be exchanged for resources, fostering early networks. In the Neolithic transition, around 12,000 years ago, women's grinding technologies evolved into pottery and weaving, laying groundwork for settled societies. Think of Catalhoyuk in Turkey, where murals depict women in central roles, surrounded by tools that enabled surplus production, the seed of civilization. These contributions reshaped social structures. In egalitarian hunter-gatherer bands, women's economic independence from tool innovation likely granted them influence in decision-making. Ethnographic studies of modern groups like the Hadza or Kang show women controlling gathered resources, which comprise 60 to 80% of calories, translating to status. This reevaluation upends traditional roles: men as providers, women as dependents. Instead, women were pivotal in adaptability, driving migrations and cultural exchanges. Their tools enabled population growth, as better nutrition supported larger families, accelerating human expansion from Africa across the globe. The implications ripple through time. By recognizing women's ingenuity, we gain a fuller picture of human resilience. During environmental crises, like the last glacial maximum 20,000 years ago, women's portable, multifunctional tools allowed survival in refugia, isolated habitable zones. This adaptability shaped our species' genetic diversity and cognitive evolution, as problem-solving in daily tasks honed intelligence. Yet, This story remains untold in many textbooks, overshadowed by dramatic hunts.